then again, students might work better together, and then which students maybe just need some time apart. Mr. Oates.
I'm back. I realized that I didn't hit record, so. There we are.
Okay, so yeah, so I've been meeting with all those people, like I said, and then the fifth grade is coming here on the 30th, and we'll be able to do some tours with them, answer a lot more questions. There will be students available to answer questions. I think it goes a long way with the kids coming in to hear from current students, because they feel like students might be more honest with them than some of the adults, which is fair. We also get the chance to spend some time together in guidance seminar. So like we were talking earlier about the arts rotation, once per year. So for one of the quarters, I'll have your kids in guidance seminar. It's a very like low key class. We do a lot of SEL focused stuff. We focus a lot on talking about different learning styles, multiple intelligences. We talk about how your brain works. We talk about the challenges of middle school. We talk about sometimes like peer conflicts and how that might play out here. It's a little bit different, trying to navigate some of those trickier situations. So we spend a couple of those weeks together, really getting to know each other. It is an awesome opportunity to see the students in a classroom setting, because I learn a lot and it sticks with me. So when I have a teacher being like, have you noticed, X, Y, or Z, it's really helpful for me to pay attention to that when I have them in my classroom as well. And I'm very clear with the kids that when I'm in there teaching them for guidance seminar, I wear my guidance seminar teacher hat, but outside of there, I'm still their counselor. So I will never bring up, if there is a kid crying in my office the day before, I don't come to class and be like, Johnny, remember when you were crying in my office yesterday? I don't bring their stuff into the classroom, and it keeps, everything stays very separate. So I really try to reassure the kids of that. Let's see what else. I work closely with a lot of people here. I work very closely with these lovely gentlemen over here, Mr. Oates and Mr. Buck. We work collaboratively when it comes to problem solving with students. We work very closely, when I say we, I mean counselors, work very closely with Mr. Kukulu. We work very closely with the grade leader. It is very much a team effort, and I wouldn't be able to do my job as effectively as I can without all these people supporting me in that role. So I'm sure that I will get a chance to, again, speak with you all further, get to know your kids better. I'm really excited. I'm getting a lot of siblings. So that's really exciting for me to get to see different members of the families. And if you have any questions between now and September, please feel free to reach out, get in touch. I know there's questions, I know there's concerns. I've already spoken with some parents about some thoughts and feelings. I am here for you guys and for your kids. So I'm very excited about our journey together for the next couple of years, and it's gonna be great. And now I'll click the button for.
And you didn't take it, remember? All right, so I'm gonna, before Mr. K goes, 1 second, Mr. K. I just want to bring up one feature of what we do here, right? So we talked about talking at the team level, we talked about talking about we spoke about talking about students, right? So every Wednesday before school, we have an hour where all we do is talk about students in our grade. So that team system that I was talking about with the green and yellow house, we will actually sit down in the same room and talk about students for good and bad reasons, right? Concerns, SEL, academic, they have an upcoming surgery, like all these things, so that we have a plan. So just, it's every Wednesday morning. Thursday morning is X block, which is really great. Our Boston students get bussed in, everybody else can get dropped off, right? And that's a time where we can do an hour-long worth of open kind of teacher drop-in stuff. And then we do some faculty meeting stuff, and we have other teams that we kind of are more or looser, but we talk about often students, right? Our IST team, our pre-referral team for stuff like that. Just so I wanted you to know kind of like where that happens in our schedule. And now, Mr. K, you are up.
Hey folks, so as mental liaison, I do work with all 3 grade levels here at the middle school. My position essentially entails being an advocate for our Boston families, helping them navigate all things middle school related. I work in close conjunction with the school counselors, Mr. Buck, Mr. Oates, the teacher teams. Everything we do here at the middle school is team based. When I think of our Boston kiddos, I think of a group of students who are going back and forth on a daily basis between 2 unique communities. And I feel that part of my role, a big piece of that, is also giving those students the atmosphere and the space to decompress some of the unique nuances that come along with being a MECO student, because it's a lot. When I think of some of the challenges with the role, there are also the things that I enjoy. It gets a little crazy going between 3 grade levels on a daily basis. But it keeps things interesting. This team will tell you there's never, there's never a dull day at the middle school, ever. And I think that's awesome. There's also such a wealth of experience here, not just with our 6th grade teacher team, with 7th and 8th. You know, this fall will be my 12th year at the middle school, and I'm still on the low end of the totem pole. And you also have a group of teachers that really love working with middle school, and that sounds crazy, right? Like a lot of my friends tell me that, but like they're so middle school, the kids can pick up on that, the kids feel that, and I think that's what makes this a special place. I know that I'm biased because I work here, but I do mean that. I feel like developmentally, you know, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, each kid is only a year older. But a 6th grader looks different than a 7th grader, a 7th grader looks different than an 8th grader, right? And I feel like the teacher teams are just like that. They're each with their own unique personality. It keeps things refreshing, and I think it's one of the best things about the middle school, one of the things that I personally enjoy. There are so many opportunities to mix things up. Whether it's my student advisory, my flex, doing academic support groups, affinity groups, lunch groups, middle school cabinet, school council, you know, there's so many different opportunities to mix things up. A year ago, I was in Paris, France with Miss Aiello and Mr. Buck chaperoning the world language trip.
Mr. Buck didn't make it.
No, I'm sorry, not Mr. Buck, my bad, Mr. Rhodes. Sorry, Mr. Buck. Now we have something. So there's so many different opportunities to get involved with each grade's initiatives and events, serving on district committees as well. I feel that because of that, there's so many different ways to build meaningful connections with not just Boston students, our Western resident students as well, which makes me consider myself a resource for all students. In the coming weeks, I will be at field school to meet some students. I know some of you guys. I know some families in the house already. Good to see you guys. And yes, I'm looking forward to meeting your children. All please rest assured they are in great hands. Welcome to the middle school.
Follow, man, that was nice. All right, he's also a school adjustment counselor. He's got all these different licenses. He's very important. He's a wonderful resource for us. Nice job, Mr. K. And he had a good time in France also. That was with me. Give us, Mr.
We
Buck.
shared a room that was this big. Look how big Mr.
I got,
Rhodes is.
ask me to see the picture sometime.
Yeah.
Literally, our beds in Paris were this far apart. And you'd roll over and be like, hey, what's going on? And the bed was like this wide. So I'm like, all right, like my feet were well off by like, anyway, yeah. We're closer because of Mr. K. That's right, that's right. I will talk about international trips actually at the end of the slideshow. We have an amazing nurse team. So we have 2 school nurses in our building at all times, which is awesome. Jamie Gaynor, who's our director. I know you guys have probably know her from, at least for you guys, in 4th grade. And she's often here as well. So we have a great team of people taking care of our kids on a variety of different levels. Really superstar team. You will be working with them on, you know, returning it from a concussion, making sure you're eligible for sports, up to date on all those wonderful things. Thank God COVID stuff is less obnoxious than it was a few years ago. But it's a great team. If you have any questions, you know, you can reach out to them and you're going to get a very thoughtful, caring answer. Good people. And now I hand it off to you. Do you want Twitter?
I want.
All right. Yeah.
Yes, he was gonna be disappointed if I said no. Yes. So, welcome. I know you've heard a lot about the school. As the assistant principal here, a couple of unique roles that I play. One is focusing on the advisory content. So what that means is we really use advisory as a time in 6th grade to form connections and to build skills, right? So those skills that we want to explicitly teach but might not fit into a classroom, they come up each year. We use them in advisory. They're different every year because every group is different. In those Wednesday morning meetings, I survey the group each quarter. We talk and we say, hey, what are some things we could really focus on with this group that would be valuable across the curriculum for every student? Then we program it for advisory. There's also fun times. We're actually at the field school. We were there this morning. We'll be there Wednesday and Thursday with our student advisory committee, which is made up of all 8th graders this year. That's just how it turned out. It doesn't have to be that way. But we are taking part in the morning meeting. We did today, we will tomorrow, and then on Thursday, they're gonna run one of their favorite activities from the year. So we do a lot of group activities. We focus on collaboration and also student skills. It's gonna be a big focus of sixth grade next year. Thinking about discipline, and the great part, which Mr. Kulu and everyone has alluded to, is that the first role of that really comes from our teachers, right? Because engaged students who care about the curriculum and care about their classmates and their teacher are not often students that I see in my office, right? And we have teachers who really care. You could have a class with, 22 students, 21 are engaged, and that teacher's in my office asking about how we get the 22nd student engaged, right? So we have a wonderful teacher team in that way, and a lot happens there. I see it as from the original, which is Latin, which is to teach, which comes from disciple, right? And that piece there. I think about in every opportunity, whether it's traditional discipline and they have to serve a lunch detention, or whether it's a opportunity for restorative justice, we always look for opportunities to teach. Education, collaborative problem solving is something I'm licensed to be a trainer in. I used it long before I was here. It's a great opportunity to get kids to know themselves. It works on the premise that kids do well if they can. Our teachers and our counselors are the most amazing motivators in the world. If there's an issue of motivation, it is not going to come to me, right? When things come to me is because there is a skill we need to work on and identify. And the best way to do that, you've probably realized if you say things to your soon-to-be teenagers, they don't always listen to you. I'm also an adult, that happens. But when they identify those things themselves, and I can help them to kind of look internally and figure out, this is getting in the way. I do have this goal, and I notice how I might not get there if I don't switch things up. That's when we really see the progress. And that's our focus in all our conversations, teachable moments, opportunities for education, and to check out. So let's see. So communication, whom to contact. Generally, from field school to reach out to your student's primary teacher, and that's where you get information from. In our case, it's a little bit different, right? When you have subject questions that are specific to the class, whether it's homework, whether it's how they're doing, that's when you reach out to the classroom teacher. When you want to figure out something around scheduling, around social matters, you want to know a little bit more about clubs. Your child isn't feeling as connected as you'd hoped. Historically, they had a great friend group, and now something seems off. That's a great moment to reach out to our counselors. Medication questions, changes, support, talk to our school nurse, they'll be great there. Adjustment counselor, also additional support. We have grade level counselors in each grade that cycle. We also have 2 school adjustment counselors. So we have 5 members of our just sort of social emotional health team and student support team there, which is really great. There's a grade director, which for your grade will be Miss Rainbow Collins. And, oh man, what does it say down there? Something behind that bar there that's probably important.
it's me.
Is that me, me and Mr. Oates?
Yeah.
Yeah, reach out. If you reach out to any of these people and you get in contact with them, they will CC somebody else. They will forward you, right? So just reach out is the most important part. The more we're in contact, the more we're partnering, the further we get in the 3 years that your child or children will be here. All right. So how to contact? We have phone, we have email, we have a back to school night, which will be coming up first week of school, second week of school.
No, it's like the second or third.
Second or third week? All right, so back to school night is a great time to come in. You'll kind of know the schedule. You'll hear any concerns, any successes from your child or children by then, and be able to kind of have more specific questions. We have conferences that will be coming up in the fall. We have different types of conferences. So this year in the fall, we had your standard conference that you picture, you sign up, you come in, you meet with a teacher. We generally ask people not to sign up for every single teacher, right? Maybe teachers we have specific questions on, an area of growth, things like that. In the spring, we started this year, it was our first year with student-led conferences. So it's awesome that we have a group of peers that will be able to speak to the experience of what it was like. If you have friends in the community, parents in the community, talk to them. Overall, it was an amazing experience this year in our first iteration. We had a great opportunity to watch students figure out what is important about what I'm learning. Not just, hey, I got an A on this test, but it matters I got an A on this test because this is what I've learned, right? And this is what it really showed me. For your kids who might shine in academic classes, they got a chance to show that off. For your kids who might really shine in PE or orchestra or band or drama, they got a chance to really show that off and model that. Parents and teachers got to sit down together and be the audience, right? 15 to 20 minutes, students talking, taking questions. I got to do one for all 3 grade levels, a few in each different grade level. It was amazing. And I think it's really gonna be a successful part.